What is up, guys? My name is Benji Dum Dum Dog Saxon. I'm joined here with my friend Tyler Faxi Frim, and today we are casting, Week 1, Day 2 of the NALCS, Dignitas versus TSM. Both these teams are 0-1 right now as far as their records go. We've already had the first 3 bans done, and we're seeing a first pick of Ezreal for Johnson down there in the bot lane. First off, Tyler, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm alright. I'm excited to see these games. Both of these teams really looking for their anime redemption arc as far as, how the team's working right now. So, in response to the Ezreal first pick, we're going to see the TSM first pick the Yuumi to sort of deny that synergy matchup and also pick up a Trundle for Spica there in the jungle. Trundle, super strong pick. We see him get banned a lot. He got banned by Cloud9 last game, so it's very common to see this champ either being played or being banned in some capacity or form. Looking like a set being hovered here, and it's going to be locked in by Dignitas. Now that could be flexed. That could be played in about 3 different positions. Where do you think that's going to go, Tyler?
I think it's for sure going to be a top lane set. It's like very solid. I would not put this set in the jungle because Trundle with his ulti can easily just take all those resistances set might be building in the jungle, and is like Trundle's just a great counter for most tank junglers. So I would be wary of putting it in the support or jungle role because you would require it to be a frontliner. And then right there, just before we panned out of the champ select, we saw the Lulu lock in for Froggen, and that might be going in the bot lane, might be going in the top, in the mid lane. Enchantress supports in the mid lane right now are like super big, and I do like that with like the set since Lulu can speed set up for an engage.
I really feel like Lulu's kind of like Diet Yuumi in a way, more vulnerable than the Yuumi, but offers, the same sort of criteria of buffs and helps out their ADC, or has the ability to help out the ADC a lot. I would be surprised to see it actually go into the mid lane. I know Froggen has a preference for caster mages, but I think it's definitely going to go to Aphromoo there in the bot lane. Just because I know Froggen wants to have more power on his hands as a mid laner. Just given his history and whatnot.
And TSM is banning out the Lee Sin, calling the bluff on that set going into the jungle. Probably a good idea. Lee Sin is a really strong pick into things like the Yuumi, because if you kick the target Yuumi is on, then that's 2 free kills. He's also not bad into Trundle as well, because he's not really a tanky jungler, so Trundle can't really get anything out of him. And then that's another respect ban out of Dignitas on the Zilean for Bjergsen.
We saw that in the last TSM matchup. There was a Zilean ban as well, which forced him onto the Syndra, which has already been banned here. I think, just as a side note, what Bjergsen needs to do as a player is really master another, like, 3rd champ, I guess you could say, that could be considered a pocket pick that's super powerful. The Zilean has already won, the Syndra's already won, but I feel like if he has a 3rd one that he can pull out that's super duper dangerous, it's going to make drafts a lot more interesting, because you're going to be forced to ban 3 champs, or 3 out of your 5 bans are going to be put on one player, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, and the bans from TSM and Dignitas are like very telling. TSM really trying to set up Spica for a good game, banning out the Kindred, another Trundle counter pick, and they don't want Spica to like just have an awful game like he did yesterday. They really want to set him up for success. On the other side, Dignitas is I don't know, man. I think this Lulu could go in the mid lane with these bans coming out. These are definitely like anti the LeBlanc especially is just like, do not one-shot me. But with the Orianna hover, maybe not. But anyways, those bans from Dignitas just trying to limit Bjergsen so he can't really help Spica in this matchup.
Oh no, please do it. Please do it. I saw it for a second. Oh, they didn't do it. There was a hover on the Anivia. That's Froggen's like one-trick champ there. He pulls it out all the time in solo queue. He's practically the only player in the NA server that's able to make it work at a very high level. And I would have been so happy to see that. Looks like TSM, following their old TSM adage, is going to get the last pick over to Bjergsen to make sure he's having a really good setup in the mid lane. Make sure he's all squared away. He's hovering the Corki there, and they are going to lock it in. All right, good for him there. really excited to see this Oriana Corki matchup. It's a very old matchup. You've seen it all the time. It's been played many times throughout the years. Super even matchup too for the two of them. Both of them come online around the same time, around the one item power spike is when Oriana becomes big, and also with Corki when Corki gets that Trinity Force there. I think this bot lane is really interesting as well, because Ezreal and the Lulu's again, it's like a Yumi light, and I haven't seen a lot of Misfortune Yumi in the bot lane there, and I'm not really sure how exactly that's going to work as well, whereas Misfortune kind of looks like an Ezreal light in his aspect when it comes to that synergy there. What are you thinking there for that bot lane?
Well, for this bot lane, it's probably just like huddle down, farm. I'm expecting, at least, especially with this the two Enchantress supports. They're probably just trying to keep their ADCs alive for most of this game. What I do want to turn everyone's attention to is the Nidalee pick for Acadian. Acadian not really known for his Nidalee pick, but like Dignitas really, like, I guess, investing to the fact that Spica is the weakest link in this chain on TSM, and you really just gotta break him, because once you break him, then that's so many free objectives. Taking that Nidalee is another great counter pick into the Trundle. TSM probably not expecting it either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right when you say it's going to be Dignitas's objective to sort of bring Spica down. I would argue he's probably not the weakest link on the team, but we can save that for another time. It's just the fact that jungle in itself, in this meta, in this day and age, it's just such an important position. If your jungler isn't doing what he's supposed to do, isn't out there on the map either ganking or getting objectives, your team is going to fall behind. And we see that all the time with really weak junglers or really one-sided jungle matchups there. So we're going to have to see how this Nidalee plays out. It's used as a damage check jungler, in my opinion, when we're really trying to struggle to find what junglers are good in the meta. Junglers will bring out the Nidalee. It's a very old champ, kind of like Oriana in the mid lane. It's like if no other mid laners are good right now, we'll bring out the Oriana just to see how it's comparing to the meta and whatnot. So, and I feel like that's what's going on with the Nidalee. Spear gonna be thrown out, gonna hit Spica there. That looks like some pretty ominous foreshadowing, if this is any inclination of how this game's gonna go.
Yeah, and just talking about comps this game, neither team has really hard engage. I think both teams have decent disengage, so it's hard to tell what's going to happen from this game, but I do expect a lot of early game fighting when there's a Nidalee in the game. I do think that Dignitas can use their power of the Set and Lulu combo to form an engage. Set can speed himself up with his Q, while Lulu can also speed him up. And on the other side, Biofrost could be looking to do a similar thing with Spica.
Right. And let's take a moment just to talk about the narrative of these two teams here. Both have a lot to prove to themselves, and both to the community and their fan base as well. You can look at a number of these players and pick out redemption storylines for them. The most notable of which being that of Doublelift joining TSM, right? That first game back against TL did not go very well for Doublelift, and we were all expecting him to have a really good split onto TSM. But it hasn't panned out so far, and he's going to be looking to prove himself here and have one of the best splits of his career. So say him. Looking on the Dignitas side, you've got a lot of players here that want to prove themselves as well. Viper got booted off of FlyQuest to join Dig here. Wants to prove himself as not just a one-trick pony here. And so far, hasn't been doing that great, losing their first match. So if either team, whichever team wins this game, is going to completely flip the narrative on its head, depending on how good the victory is.
Yeah, definitely not the expecting for TSM, yeah. And for Dignitas, on the other hand, a lot of people weren't really high on them. No one really think much of this team. Maybe a playoff contender, borderline. But yeah, a win here would solidify Dignitas as they're here to play, and a win here for TSM would show that they're back on track. They mean business. Like yesterday was just a fluke.
Right. And I mean, the veterans that are on Dignitas as well. You've got Froggen and Aframu, two of the oldest players, at least in the league right now. They've been around for a really, really long time, and they've kind of fallen from their, high up graces so far. Aframu, for the longest time, was considered the best support in the league. Definitely while he was on CLG, and also when he went to 100 Thieves as well. Was the best support for the longest time. And it was kind of around when Core JJ showed up that he lost that title, and also through his own play as well that he wasn't able to keep that. So I think these two players, Froggen and Aframu, are really looking to prove themselves this split and show that, hey, we're still here and we're still playing.
Yeah, I mean, Aframu, like, after making finals with 100 Thieves, his first split on 100 Thieves, and then winning MVP of that split at the same time, hasn't really found the same success since then. And Froggen has always just been that.
Sorry to interrupt you there. See, Acadian gonna have a little gank there into the top lane. He's gonna miss the first spear though, which kind of makes the gank crumble. That's the thing about Nidalee. If you miss that first spear, that gank is probably instantly not gonna work. And that's just how the champ goes. Now, if you hit the spear, for example, the gank's gonna go very well. Remember, the spear damage is based off of how far it is away from you, right, when you hit it, right? So if you hit it at max range, it's going to do max damage. We see Spica reply gank there in the mid lane onto Froggen's going to be forced to blow the flash, and that is a flashless Orianna in the mid lane, and that is very dangerous for a control mage like Orianna.
Yeah, but Orianna still has the Phaedra, still feeling okay. Probably going to TP in, should be wary of a repeat gank, but it looks like Spica and Acadian have found each other. They're just going to like play around in the jungle. Acadian should be feeling pretty well about this 1v1 against Trundle, at least right now.
Right.
Given that he does have a lot more early game damage.
Oh man, look at this top side health difference right here. Broken Blade appears to have taken a trade that was not beneficial to him, but he's able to get that right back up with a trade as Viper goes into the turret there. And he's going to try to get as much damage on him as possible. Oh, flashes out of the damage with the turret, finishes off Viper. I don't know why Viper was going to try to take a fight there when you knew that Broken Blade had his flash up. And first blood going over to TSM, and first kill over to Broken Blade. What was Viper thinking there?
Well, I do not think Viper was expecting that much damage out of that turret in that next shot. Definitely waiting to stall for that W damage, knowing that Broken Blade does not have his flash up. He cannot avoid that hate. But like I said, that turret damage just took him down from a third health, and he could not have been expecting that. Yeah,
I mean, maybe he thought that Broken Blade, for some reason, didn't have the flash, but no, Broken Blade's just going to flash out of that. Viper forced to TP back in the lane, and now he's 2 levels down from BB.
Yeah, and Broken Blade did get his flash blown in that initial gank, so...
Well, no, not necessarily. He blew it just there in that solo kill. We get a replay. Spica having to blow the flash there to dodge the Orianna ult. Good flash out of Spica there. Acadian still on the chase there. Remember, that ball can speed you up when the W's pop there. Broken Blade's going to be there, though, to stop any of the further pushing. And Froggen's just going to go back to the lane. Pick up some of that farm. Bjergsen picking up a nice CS lead for himself there in the mid lane. Both TPs down for these mid laners, so it's not an account of any of that. Pretty even game so far, but with a almost 1k gold lead for TSM, and that's mostly because of that first blood there in the top lane.
Yeah, and there's growing CS differentials in the mid and bot lane right now. A lot of pressure being put down on the map by Bjergsen and Double Lift.
And I think, I don't have a lot of experience with Ezreal Lulu versus, Misfortune Yumi, but it seems like the Misfortune Yumi combo is working out very well for the side of TSM there. Obviously, this bot lane, Double Lift Biofrost, that's a legendary bot lane. I was talking about this yesterday with the first TSM game. Like, who can forget that the origin story of the Bio God name, right? It was it was TSM versus Cloud9. Impact was still on Cloud9. Impact was on the Gnar, trying to kill Doublelift. They're under turret at that point, and Biofrost comes in with the Braum at the last second, dashes the Doublelift, and stuns Impact under the turret so they can pick up the kill. And Kobe said, Bio God! And that's how that name was, founded there. And this bot lane, so far this split, hasn't been living up to that legendary status. And so hopefully we're going to be seeing that this game and for the rest of the split as well.
Yeah, they do have a really good start here. Oh, making a play mid.
Making a play mid. Bjergsen gonna blow the package and put a lot of damage on the Frog. And Aphromoo gonna dodge or body block the shot. But Bjergsen's just gonna finish it off with an auto attack there. Great play from Spica and Bjergsen there in the mid lane, knowing that Bjergsen had the package and was able to do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. And that's why Corki's so strong. He's a little bit deceptive in the fact that not a lot of people are expecting him to do so much damage as well. And with that kill on the Frog, he's going to be able to pick up a turret plate for himself and further expand that CS lead and that CS difference. Because remember, Froggen's TP is down for the time being.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing a lot of aggression out of Acadian in this early game, which is not what I was hoping for. It seems as though he's probably sitting on a lot of gold. He hasn't backed since minute 2. Looks like we're going to see some trading in the top lane. Viper did pick up the Executioner's Calling, so he does have some agency in this fight against Broken Blade, but he can't really do much, especially with Broken Blade on Ninja Tabbies, until he gets the Bork.
Right. And we're going to see a play onto the bot lane. Spica going to be ganking Aphromoo, who's forced to ult himself to little to no help for the side of Johnson. He's just going to be forced to get out of there as quickly as possible, and he's going to live with a sliver of health. Oh my goodness. And I mean, if you're Doublelift and you're Biofrost, and you got to be feeling a little bit bad about that one, but it's hopefully first turret of the game will help you ease your pain a little bit. And now that the bot lane had to recall because, even though Johnson had to back, he had to get his health back, right? They're going to be able to get another proc of Shelly onto that second tier bot lane turret. So TSM, I mean, that sucks you didn't kill Johnson, but you're able to get first turret, so I'm sure it all worked out.
Yeah, TSM really just playing to their strengths. They finally got back to business. They have a good matchup in the top lane, and now they're just playing around Doublelift. Doublelift definitely the most famous player for just making teams just have to play around him. Almost every team he's been on, he's been the focal point, and it's no different here on this TSM. Spica really exploiting that bot lane.
Really exploiting that bot lane indeed, and that was just a good gank from him. Working together with Biofrost, that was a really good Yuumi ult out of him. They were able to lock down Aphromoo, who was forced to ult himself, so he couldn't ult Johnson, and they also didn't have their flashes either. So that was a really good, Johnson was forced to use his flash, and really just good play out of the side of TSM. I'm hoping to see more of that throughout this game and throughout the split as well. We can't just see one gank and go, all right, they're back now. We got to see a little bit more. Spica ventures into the blue side jungle of Dignitas there. Doublelift pushed up onto the turret, feeling very confident and safe. Johnson going to be trading turret plates with Doublelift there. Oh, a little bit of a skirmish here at the blue buff for TSM. Broken Blade gets polymorphed. Acadian going to be chasing after him, but going to be knocked up by BB. And he's going to make it out. He's going to be alright. Some of these spears are just not landing for Acadian. And for Nidalee, that's kind of do or die. It's a feast for famine champ. If you hit those spears, the champ's super easy. And it feels like you're smurfing. But if you don't hit those spears, it's really hard to play.
Yeah, and although Acadian hasn't had the biggest impact on this game yet, as to Nidalee, I do think it's a good pick into the comp. Nidalee provides more heals for the carries of Dignitas, as well as a lot of poke damage with the Ezreal on top of the Lulu. So I think this Dignitas lineup is really trying to soften up their opponents before they make any hard engage with their set.
Right, right. One thing I want to talk about though, it looks like TSM's got one of those team comps that really wants to get in your face and stop Dignitas from poking them down, whereas Dignitas wants to poke them down. I'm interested though. It doesn't seem like TSM has a lot of engage on their side, except for maybe the Bjergsen package or a Yumi ult or something of that nature. I feel like if BB doesn't get a really good flank off with the Aatrox teleport, it's gonna be really hard for TSM to engage onto this Dignitas team with all this poke.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think TSM just really has to look for clutch pillars. Definitely looking to burn flashes. Any flashless target, I would say, is like a threat for I mean, not a threat, but vulnerable to TSM, especially when Yumi can just speed up anyone to get instantly on that flashless target.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have to see how that plays out, and that's that's the beauty of this game. And at the highest level, it's all about how it's played, right? Both of these teams, the comps aren't, these aren't terrible comps. These are both pretty good comps, and it's just a matter of who plays it better. As we see, TSM's gonna be picking up the second Rift Herald of the game. Seeing Spica's having a really good game so far. 2 dragons already dead, and they're gonna pick up the second Rift Herald of the game as well. Definitely trying to redeem himself after the first game where he was put on the Kayn. I'm interested to see if that Kayn pick was something that he decided he wanted to do or the team asked him to do. As Bjergsen's going to catch out Acadian here, put a lot of damage onto him. Spears and rockets going flying around. Acadian's going to get backed up by Viper and Frog in there in the bot lane, and Bjergsen's just going to back off. BB,
yeah.
Interesting situation. He's going to be making it out. He's fine. Oh,
the spear coming across.
The spear coming across. What did I say? If you land that spear, it's like you're smurfing. Broken Blade having to do a lot of damage. Orianna ult coming out. And that is a dead Broken Blade there in the bot lane. Oh, for a second there, we thought he was gonna make it out, but that was just not the case. As Doublelift is going to pick up a tier 2 top lane turret.
Yeah, and I wish we could see the gold graph right now, because I feel like Doublelift, after getting that first turret gold and then 2 solo golds of turrets in the top lane, is probably vastly ahead of Johnson, even though they're even in CS right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see a gold graph as well, as most of the other matchups are pretty even. And remember, they let Doublelift get solo turret plate gold when they were sieging the top turret, so he's probably got a lot in his pocket right now. Of course, his items are a little bit more expensive than Ezreal's, which is why Ezreal already has 2 completed items to Misfortune's only 1. They're going to start up this Ocean Drake. A lot of Dignitas players coming around here. Going to try to stop him. Spica is going to body block and also make sure to get the smite off, which he's able to do. And Viper just not tanky enough to just go ahead and charge on in there. And they're just going to have to concede that 3rd Drake. Sole point for TSM now, and a complete control of the jungle for them.
Yeah, and it was really smart out of TSM just to rush down that dragon. Probably not wanting to stall out that fight.
Froggen having to force the flash out and trade it with the Yumi ult. Definitely not a trade that Froggen wanted to make, but had to do it, regardless. As Acadian's gonna try to be a thorn in Spica's side, trying to steal some of his camps. Sorry, let's go back to what you were saying, Todd.
Back at that dragon fight, TSM definitely does not want to get poked out by the Dignitas comp, so they just really went all in on that dragon and just looked for an instant disengage, because they were a little chunked out from a few spears and mystic shots out of the Dignitas.
Right, I agree. And we see this mid lane, the CS difference is kind of ballooned to something extreme at this point. Both players on 1.5 items there, so they're both at the same sort of power level, but Bjergsen's got a lot of CS this game, looking like he's got something to prove here. Not the best performance in the last game against Team Liquid, and I think TSM's one of those teams that's just very good at bouncing back from a loss. They're a team that is very harsh on themselves just because of the players that are on the roster. And with Doublelift being added to the roster, I bet they're being even more harsh on themselves. And so they're able to fix their mistakes at a faster rate than most.
Yeah, and it looks like Johnson just completed his Muramana. That's a big power spike for the Ezreal. I think if Dignitas were to look for a fight at any point, because right now they're just bleeding out, like this 3k gold lead has not changed a bit, and it's only growing after it's 5-1 in towers right now. TSM has just a chokehold on this map.
Yeah,
they would need to wait for Viper to complete this first item and look for an engage.
Yeah, complete domination there. And as we see, there's a little skirmish going on the bot side. Look at the mid lane right now. Bjergsen is doing a lot of damage to that tier 2 mid turret. And it's already, underneath half health. And that's a big cork at this point. He's now officially ahead of the Orianna as far as power goes, because the Orianna's trying to go for a death cap second item. Whereas the Corki's going for a standard, second item Trinity Force. This Corki at this point is a lot stronger than this Orianna. As you can see that in the rockets that he's putting out. He's just putting out a lot of damage on the TSM. Spica going very, very low. Misfortune ult coming through is going to completely destroy Johnson there in the mid lane. Broken Blade going on to Froggen there. Going to be saved by the Orianna ult. Viper dives in, just gets completely blown up. And that is 2 dead on the side of Dignitas. Wow,
yeah,
big fight there in the mid lane.
Johnson that fight. They poked Spica down really low, and Johnson thought he could just finish him off with the E forward, but I mean, that's a pretty tanky Trundle with a Ninja Tabby and a Spectre's Cowl.
And a Yumi to heal him up.
There was no reason to go aggressive right there, You, got Spica low, you forced him off, and, as a result, you probably forced off TSM from that tower, but instead, he just started a team fight that they should not have taken.
Right, yeah, look how low he E's forward, so the E's down, pops the Yumi ult and the Misfortune ult, and there's just so much damage being put out there. Froggen about to go down to BP, gets saved by his own ultimate, and Viper. I don't know why Viper decided to go in there, but he loses his life for it, and that is a 2-0 trade there in the mid lane. Though, unfortunately, Baron wasn't up yet, so they weren't able to really capitalize on it. It was still 30 seconds till it would be up, and the rest of Dignitas would be alive at that point. So they decided they were just gonna recall with their gold. Muramana being completed for Bjergsen there, as Froggen has his second needlessly large rod. He's very close, about 1,000 gold away from picking up that death cap. And once he completes that death cap, that Orianna is gonna be super big.
Yeah, but who will he put that ball on? I don't think it's safe for him to walk up just... Oh, looks like a pick is coming out.
Spica taking a lot of damage as Viper's just going to slam him into the ground. And that is 5 Dignitas players just completely destroying Spica, who was just not expecting 5 players to be down there in the bot lane. But I guess he should have, because this Drake is 5 seconds from being from spawning, and I think if you're TSM, you just gotta back off from this Drake. Your jungler's dead.
Looks like TSM wants to contest it. Bjergsen does have the package and a Yumi on him. This is soul point for TSM, and Dignitas are really looking to just take this away from them. Spica will be up soon. Oh, Bjergsen goes in.
Bjergsen goes in, is able to just completely 100-0. 2 members of Dignitas here. He is a really big champ, and he's able to get a triple kill. Bjergsen going absolutely insane here. He goes in onto Froggen, does a lot of damage. Froggen is forced to be ult by Aframu's Lulu. He's able to pick up a 4th kill, and let's see if he's able to. He wants to get Froggen, wants to get this unofficial penta, goes forward and completes the ace. I don't know why that wasn't a penta for Bjergsen.
Because Biofrost took the kill on Aframu, sadly.
Oh, man. Scumbag Biofrost wants to save his KDA because it was so crap in the last game against Team Liquid. And let's take a second to talk about how big that fight was from Bjergsen. Just team solo mid, truly living up to its name there. He dashes forward with the package, right? I really hope they show a replay here so we can really break that down. But they're able to get the Dragon Soul off of that, and also get the Baron off of it too, because Bjergsen was solo ace that team.
Yeah, and at this point for Dignitas, it feels like all hope is lost as we get the replay here. So
yeah, let's break it down.
That Viper does not have his ulti up, so he's not going to get instantly CC locked if he does go in. And he can just cut this team right in half with that package, blows up Johnson instantly. Johnson cannot do any more DPS. Froggen is getting zoned out by this Yumi ult. He chunks out Acadian, kills him too, takes down the very squishy set. And at this point, like, Dignitas can't look for a turn, and so they're just forced to run away. Their Biofrost takes, and they're just gonna run Froggen down for the.
Yeah, that Yumi speed up along with Corki able to dash forward. Just it's such a powerful combo, and that really was all Biofrost and Bjergsen, right? I watched Doublelift that fight while you were breaking it down. He had bullet time the whole time and didn't do anything with it. So really, that was all Bjergsen there.
Yeah, and at this point, it just looks like all Dignitas can do is just hope that like TSM messes up, since there really is like this is almost a 10,000 gold lead for TSM. There's not much hope for them to come.
Right. If I'm Dignitas, I would be looking for Froggen to complete the death cap. I would be trying to get as much farm onto that Ezreal as possible, and I would be trying to maybe put something tanky on the Viper right now. That Bork and Executioner is just not doing the trick for him right now, and he's not even split pushing with it. Right? They're really team fighting, or at least trying to pick fights. I would try to get something tanky onto that set.
Even then, there's a 3-level difference in the top lane, 2 in the mid and ADC. It just feels like all hope is lost. You know, Dignitas not really great at scaling, especially with that Nidalee.
Viper going into the back line there. He's going to go on to Spica, who goes into a stopwatch. And then look at those Yumi heals. That he's already half health again, even though he's taken down so low. And now TSM's going to reply. While that was going on, Bjergsen was ransacking the base. He was going to pick up these turrets, and TSM's going to pick up the inhibitor turret as well. And Dignitas, what do you do? Because now TSM is 5 players strong, and your set ult is down. And it looks like TSM is just going to win this game. All right, let's see if they decide to pad their stats, or they're just like, nope, let's just end this game here. Doublelift doing a lot of damage onto the Nexus. Oh, and Orianna just gets completely destroyed, and so does Acadian as well. Viper going to be going down, and that is a W for TSM there. Whew! What a game.
What a carry performance out of Bjergsen on that Corki that game.
Really, that fight just, I mean, TSM was in the lead, but that fight on the Corki there really just put all the nails in the coffin there.
Yeah, really just tragic start to the season for Dignitas. Haven't really found an identity. They're just like, they seem super disorganized. Just a lot of different play styles on this one team, and I really hope they can bring it back next week.
Yeah, I hope they can bring it back too. But let's talk about TSM here for a moment there. Looking pretty clean to say the least here. I could definitely see a difference between, you know, this team and that of like Cloud9 or Team Liquid or something along those lines. But TSM looking like a solid team in their own right. They had an objective. They wanted to get Doublelift ahead, and they did that. And as soon as Bjergsen came online, as soon as he had the 2 items, he went forward with the package next time it was up, and was just able to completely solo carry that game.
Yeah, that play in the Dragon Pit by Bjergsen, crucial. Because at that point, after that pick, you know, like, Dignitas could have stalled the game out, slowed it down, and, like, maybe mounted a comeback.
And yet, it was not able to happen. Unfortunate there for Dignitas. Let's hope they can bring it back next week. That's all we've got here today. We'll be casting the next game, of course, so I hope to see you guys there. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.